Yo everyone, today I'm going to share with you a tips and tricks style video on how you can continue to improve your sim racing skill set and hopefully gain confidence along the way. Specifically, this video is going to be on F1 2025, but this information will apply to any sim, any car, any track, any circumstance as well in the sim racing genre. Possibly in other genres as well, but like I say, specifically speaking about sim racing here today. Getting straight into the point then, so that is going to be, sometimes it will pay off to go slower for 1 or 2 laps to end up with a net result of going faster in the end. And what do I mean by that? And I've done this mistake so many times in my sim racing career that I'm pushing all day, every day, 100% flat out, and it gives me very little spare time and spare brain capacity when driving to be thinking about how to continue improving. So let's say it like this. Let's say I do 5 laps absolutely sending it, trying to improve. And then I do 2 laps, driving about 80-85% of my capability to leave myself spare brain capacity to think about what I'm doing right or what I'm doing wrong. That 15 or 20% decrease in the sort of focus level, well, I can't say focus level, let's say the pushing level. The 15 to 20% decrease in the pushing level will allow my brain the extra thought time and the spare capacity to be thinking, do you know what? Can I improve this racing line? Can I improve my curb usage? Maybe I can try something different. That 20% or 15% will only equate maybe to 1 second per lap. Maybe 1.5 at most along the most difficult tracks around the calendar. But it just gives you the time to be thinking about your technique, to be thinking about the way to improve. And this isn't like something that's super hard to do as well. It just takes a lot of discipline, because it's easy when we're pushing, when we're driving, just to think, well, I'm gonna do like a million laps, push. And I've been there myself, right, where I'm in that boat, I'm in those shoes, where it's just like, I think that the more laps I do at 100% push level, the faster I'm gonna get. But sometimes it could be really a good thing, and it can pay off in the long run, just to take that step back. You know, to do 5 laps, maybe 10 laps, pushing as hard as you need to go and as hard as you can, then maybe doing 2 or 4 laps, just driving at 80% capacity, just to be thinking a little bit differently. Maybe you try a different line, maybe you just think, okay, I'm going to drive a bit slower, let's take that curve there, let's see what it does, let's take a different racing line here and see how that can open up. Of course, if you're actually in a race, or you're actually in your qualifying session for the career mode, the league race, F1 esports race, or whatever the circumstance may be, then of course you want to be pushing as hard as you can in that circumstance. And this rule of thumb is more just for the practice, and it can be giving you that more efficiency. So like, for example, going through here, if I'm pushing 100%, you can see just going through the corner and absolutely sending it through there, but I don't really have much spare brain capacity to think about what went right, what went wrong. So of course there's one thing I can do, and that is to watch the replay. What's very helpful, very handy, just to take a little look back at that and look at the left and the right here. You can see we send the car in, maximum speed, maximum commitment, and we go through there. But because I was so much at a limit, right, and I was pushing so hard in those corners, it becomes very difficult to really think about what can go right or what can go wrong, and how can I improve going forward as well. So with that being said, let's try that again, but pushing at 80%. So going through the chicane, of course this wasn't part of the previous test, so we won't include it, but now going through the left and the right, you can see pushing at 80%, the car's a lot more calmer, a lot more smoother, my racing line is a lot more disciplined. Okay, maybe I learned a little bit about how to discipline the racing line a little bit better, how to be better in that circumstance of pulling the car to the left to open up the following right. And maybe let's try a bit different with the curbing, you know, let's try pushing the curbing to see how the car can react. So if I was pushing 100%, I wouldn't do this, right? I wouldn't take the risk on the lap, or probably wouldn't take the risk on the lap anyway, but let's just send the car over the inside. Okay, maybe I'm learning something here. Maybe there's something different I can understand. That while pushing 80%, even still the curbing was slower to attack and go up and over because it unsettled the car too much. Maybe we could try braking on the outside curbing as well, and getting down to the really cause and the root point of what I'm trying to share with you here today is, yes, it's super healthy, super good to be pushing absolutely flat out on pretty much any circumstance that you can, but it's also really helpful and really handy to be slowing down for 2 or 4 laps every 5 to 10 laps, you know, in practice sessions, just to be thinking about what you're doing. Give yourself that breather and give yourself the opportunity to have the spare brain capacity to understand how to improve going forward. Otherwise, you may hit a wall very early on and you may end up just plateauing with your pace and ability for that track or the circumstance that you're driving because you're just sending it all the time. But taking that step back may allow you the opportunity to open up the brain, open up your thought processes, and really give yourself a new understanding of the capability that you can reach. So with that being said, hopefully this video was helpful, informative. It wasn't really like a normal F125 guide, but I was thinking a lot about this the other day as well. I won't name the person on the stream because I don't really know if they want to be named. Nice voice crack. I don't really know if they want to be named, but yeah, big credit to that person as well. I'm sure they'll know who this is or who they are by watching the video. But yeah, big credit to that person because it got me on this sort of train of thought, and it's something that I believe anyway, and hopefully is helpful for you at home to improve your skill sets as well. So with that being said, I will catch you in the next video, and I've been Brendon Leigh. Thank you so much for watching. Grazie ragazzi. Ciao ciao. Bye bye.